In a move that could redefine the balance of power in trade policy, former President Donald Trump is urging the U.S. Supreme Court to affirm his authority to enforce sweeping tariffs. This request has reignited debates over executive power and its limits, especially when it comes to economic decisions with global implications. But here's where it gets controversial. Should a single leader have such broad control over international trade? And what does this mean for businesses and consumers alike? On Wednesday, the Trump administration formally petitioned the Supreme Court to intervene in a legal battle, centered on whether he had the right to impose these tariffs under a law originally intended for emergencies. The case stems from a recent ruling by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit, which concluded that Trump had overstepped his authority. According to court documents, the Justice Department is now challenging this decision, arguing that the president's actions were justified under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA. The IEEPA allows the president to regulate imports during declared national emergencies, but the appeals court ruled 7-4 that this law doesn't grant carte blanche to implement indefinite global tariffs. These tariffs remain active for the time being and are set to stay in place until at least October 14th, unless the Supreme Court steps in. Adding urgency to the matter, Solicitor General D. John Sauer requested an expedited review of the case. He emphasized the need for swift action, stating that the lower court's erroneous decision has thrown ongoing diplomatic negotiations into disarray and created uncertainty around efforts to safeguard the nation from potential crises. Treasury Secretary Scott, however, if the justices rule against him, it might signal a shift towards stricter oversight of executive actions in matters of commerce. Interestingly, even if Trump loses this round, he still has alternative methods to introduce new tariffs. For instance, some existing levies, such as those targeting steel and aluminum imports, were established through separate statutes unrelated to the current dispute. Meanwhile, the specific tariffs at issue affect goods from countries like China, Canada, and Mexico. A notable example includes a 25% charge on select products tied to allegations of insufficient action against fentanyl trafficking. Among those leading the charge against Trump's policies are companies like VOS Selections Inc., a wine and spirits importer, and Plastic Services and Products, a supplier of pipes and fittings. These businesses, along with 12 states, argue that the emergency law was misused to justify measures that hurt domestic industries rather than protect them. It's worth noting that the Supreme Court currently leans conservative, with 6 justices appointed by Republican presidents, including 3 chosen by Trump himself. Historically, the court has often sided with Trump early in his presidency, but experts suggest that may no longer be guaranteed. During the Biden era, the justices showed skepticism toward attempts to expand executive powers beyond what Congress explicitly authorized. One landmark case involved rejecting President Joe Biden's plan to forgive student loan debt, citing the major questions doctrine. Could a similar principle apply here? So where do you stand on this issue? Do you believe the president should have wide-ranging powers to impose tariffs? Or should such decisions require closer collaboration with Congress? Share your thoughts in the comments below. This is one conversation we'd love to hear from you on.